what you're thinking. Why did I spoil this episode with this very image that is my background? Well, I warned you guys at the very beginning, and this is a Fat Mantis video, and you know I'd be spoiling things. I mean, how do you talk about something without talking about it? And we're going to get into it. American Horror Stories, Season 2, Episode 3, Drive, starring Bella Thorne. Very controversial. I know this video is late, and I see all sorts of smoke is being generated by this episode. And we're going to get right into it, but first I got to ask you to like, share, and subscribe so I can keep doing all the funky things that I do as the Fat Mantis. Now, getting into it, Ryan Murphy, or maybe just Ryan Murphy in his name's latest installment is a controversial episode. I think a lot of people didn't like it. However, on my first viewing, I thought it was all right. And in my second viewing, I thought it was all right. At no point did I ever come to hating this piece. Now, why did I spoil it? To answer my original question from before, well, the fact of the matter is this episode doesn't pack a lot in terms of twist or substance. It has stars Bella Thorne in an attempt to do stunt casting. They want a girl who embodies the character. A party, coked out, wild child girl, married to a hipster. Obviously, they have an open relationship because it's a Ryan Murphy production. And she just has an irresistible thirst. She describes it as an urge, a thirst, a hunger in her to keep going to clubs and hooking up with random people. And you can tell it's destroying her husband. There's all these things. There's only one problem. There's a serial killer of people out there, catching people when they're leaving the club at night. If she continues her promiscuous ways, this will lead to certain doom. Now, I have revealed that at the end, the twist is that she is the killer. Now, the first mistake this episode made is that it relies on an urban legend, one that we all know, where a guy at night is driving, or a girl is driving in a car, comes up with a guy, and he starts banging the back of her vehicle. And she's like, he's a psycho killer, and, you know, there are variations of the tale, but she just gets the hell out of there. And later on, you realize he was trying to warn her that someone is in her back seat, and that person is a killer. Now, the first problem that they do is they have the urban legend, but they don't base it on the correct thing. The urban legend doesn't come into play until Act 2, which, when they finally do, I'm like, oh, this is what they're trying to do. But another problem is, in their attempt to make the twist ending that she's the serial killer, it shouldn't have been from her perspective. It should have been from the guy. Now, why did I like this episode? I thought it was all right. I think it was very mid. And one of the reasons is it was entertaining. I did enjoy getting into it. Is Bella Thorne the greatest actress that ever lived? No. Is she a mediocre actress? Well, she can clearly read. That's the first takeaway that I have to say about Bella Thorne. She has the ability to read. And in my boat, that's a pretty strong thing going on there. So, once again, we've got Season 2 of American Horror Stories. Wobbly at best. I don't think anyone's going to hate this episode. I don't think you should. I think what it is people hate Bella Thorne. I think she's very easy to dislike. Because she just lacks all talent. She's a talentless hack. But I'm going to say other things were in it, like that dude who was in the YouTuber episode where they have the party house in Season 1. He was great in this. I really, really enjoyed this. And plus, I like something that they do in American Horror Story. They love to focus on the idea that anyone can just snap one day and become a killer. Every season has had it. There's always at least one character who seems like a normal person or whatever. They're like, la 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 la, and they just snap. And they just go for it. Do you ever feel like sometimes Ryan Murphy is talking about you? I certainly do. What is in store for the rest of this? I do enjoy unwrapping anthologies. I think what it is that anthologies tend to be uneven, obviously. No anthology hits the nail always on the head. Not The Twilight Zone, not even Black Mirror. I'm going to be real. You can at me if you want, and you can even fight me down in the comments. I love to argue with you guys. But there are always bad episodes of every show. So I do enjoy waiting for midnights on Wednesdays to unwrap what the next piece of this is. The next episode is going to be called Cast, and I don't even know for the life of me what that's going to be about. Now, before I wrap up, I got to point out something about this series and a little trick that I've now recently finally discovered. I think you can always tell when it's going to be a mid or subpar episode when the opening thing is lacking all focus and direction. Opening thing, what am I talking about? The intro, the way they change it. You know, they always remix the music and then they try to make it very different and they try to make it happening and about the story. If you don't understand what's going on in these opening credits, if you're like, what is that? What is that? You know, what's going on? It means that they don't understand their story and they are unfocused on it and they just put anything out. And this is an example of it. I was watching the beginning. I'm like, why do you bother remixing the beginning? That's just a waste of graphic artists and digital artists and people who could be doing good things. That was really bad. However, I think Aura's is really good. I think Feral from season 1 is good. And I think At the Drive-Ins was very good. I think a lot of them, however, you can tell when it's just nonsense on there. It's not going to be a great episode. But that are my thoughts on episode 3 of American Horror Stories season 2. What did you guys think about it? Please let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and keep tuning into Voice of the Fat Mantis so we can get into it. Reviews all the ways. I believe this is going to go for a time being, and then we're eventually going to get American Horror Story probably a month after that. The real proper season 11. So there's going to be a lot of horror coverage in this season, and I love it. And quite frankly, summer is winding down, which means we're close to Halloween. Oh yeah! I already have my top 7 costumes picked out. Just need to narrow it down to 3. Until next time, ciao. For now.